Jeff from JMG Solutions is going to speak and show a little bit of a demonstration of what the new database will look like. I want to let everybody know that we are recording this session tonight, so we will be posting a link on the website for anybody who can't attend or wants to revisit the conversation afterwards. There's a lot of thoughts and feelings and emotions that are tied to the online registration process. So I really want to just present a chance to walk everyone through the process so that you have some idea of what to expect. Training is going to take place over the coming weeks for the volunteer positions who work with the database, and we're going to work together to make this the best possible experience for 4-Hers across Ontario. If everyone doesn't mind, please hold any questions until the end. There's going to be a section where I review a number of questions that we've received. So hopefully that will answer anything that you're looking for. And then if we have time, we'll do a brief Q&A, but you can also always email me and I will do my best to get back to you with any answers that you're looking for. So tonight we're going to cover the new registration process. We're going to go over the results of the 2 surveys that went out, the last 2 surveys that went out. JMG Solutions is going to do our demonstration, and then we're just going to go back and review the important dates that are coming up. So the new registration process. This was sent out in an email a little while back, but I know that we've been sending a lot of communications, particularly since COVID-19 hit, and sometimes they go to junk boxes or spam folders. So I wanted to review it here in person in kind of a high level. And once again, all of this will be available on the website, hopefully tomorrow for you. So there's 4 major steps to the process. That's okay, Emma, you can go ahead. The first one, so the user is going to begin the registration process. So that's going to be a youth or parent is going to go on the website. They're going to choose the association that they'd like to register for. When they click on the form, they're also going to agree to the code of conduct, the inclusion statement, our child safety policy, and a photo release. Once all of the information is completed in the registration, and that information will include basically everything that's included in the participant agreement form, and then some additional data that we have to collect for grants. And that's stuff that's on the current registration form, so it's nothing new. So they're going to pay via credit card or a Visa debit. We are looking into finding a solution for like an online debit Interact payment, but it's not the easiest thing to find, so we are working on it. In the interim, we are going to offer an option for electronic fund transfer or Interact payment direct to the office, and it's going to be via a private link that you can send to someone if they're really stuck and they don't have the means to use a credit card or a Visa debit. The registration fee, as we know, it's determined by the Ontario 4-H Council Board, but we did hear a lot of feedback around the importance of the association fees being represented on the form. I know that was a challenge with the form that we initiated in the summer. So in 2021, 4-H associations, you can let us know for next year, which is coming up faster than I can. It seemed like it was a long way off, and now it's coming up in a few weeks. But next year, so you can let us know if you're going to charge above the provincial rate, below the provincial rate, and if you charge a different amount for Clover Buds and for youth members, we can accommodate that as well. The other thing that we're offering is that if you have an early bird fee, you can set your fee at an initial price. You're just going to have to shoot an email to us the week that you'd like the fee to go up, and we can go in and switch it for you. And then if there is a fee that's special for returning members, we will set up a private form that's not indexed in the website. We'll send you a link that you can send directly to your returning members to accommodate special pricing for them. So that should cover most of the needs of the associations when it comes to pricing, at least in the feedback that we've been provided. Associations that charge more than the provincial fee will be reimbursed via electronic fund transfer on a monthly basis, and associations that offer a discount will be invoiced for the difference on a monthly basis. Border hopper fees, we're going to have those continue to be collected at the local level, and so there's not a change there. So when the registration is completed, and Jeff is also going to show an example, I believe, of what the new registration form is going to look like. The user will receive an automated email that welcomes them to 4-H, gives them the contact of their membership coordinator, or any pertinent contact information that you would like to include for your association. It'll give them a link to the welcome package, information for parents and youth safety, our inclusion policy, our code of conduct once again, and I'll tell them the next step to follow for their specific association. So if you want, we can send them a listing of clubs that they can access, or you can just have them contact you directly, but the club sign up piece will be done at the local level. The other thing that comes in that automated email is a summary of their registration, which is all of the information that's on the participant agreement form. So it'll, we've had a number of associations ask if that information will still be available to them, and yes, it will. It'll just come on the email summary. You can have the youth print it and bring it if that's something you're more comfortable with. Once that automated email goes out at the same time, the membership coordinator and treasurer also receive a summary of the same information. So automatically they will know when new people have registered for their association. So once the membership coordinator receives the email alert, they go into the new database, which is called the RazorsEdge, and they'll be able to view the participant information. Membership coordinators, treasurers, and screening contacts will receive training on the RazorsEdge, and they will have specific access. We are asking that the membership coordinator and the treasurer share weekly reports from the RazorsEdge. The reports are something that we're going to work with you to set up in advance if required, or show you how to set it up so that it pulls the information that you need. And so if you would like, you can use these reports in place of the participant agreement form because it has all of the same information available. So we can pull that information directly from our database now. And you can download it in a PDF or an Excel document. You can send it to club leaders with a list of all the youth in their clubs, along with all the information required, emergency contacts, health issues, that sort of thing. Or again, it could be printed and handed off as well. It's just, that's within the comfort level of the club leader. So we're going to work with memberships coordinators to ensure that the information is available to them and it's in a format that they can use. So just a few things to keep in mind. So that youth will still sign up for clubs directly through their association. Some of the feedback we've gotten is that things like sign up nights and rally nights couldn't happen. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in 2021 to begin with, but you could still have those nights provided we're allowed to and have youth sign up directly for clubs and then have them pay and register for their 4-H Ontario membership online. And then they'd have to attend their second meeting with their proof of payment as is required now. Due to privacy legislation and accreditation coming with 4-H Canada at the end of this year, this is largely going to help us with our need to track and keep data accurate. We will have a better idea of youth that join clubs and then potentially decide not to continue. And we'll be able to report more accurately for grant purposes as well. And I can't say this enough, we are not trying to set anyone up to fail in this. We are here to support and work with the associations to help get you rolling, to help get everyone feeling comfortable with it. and we don't expect, you know, we're not going to leave anybody high and dry in this. So I'm briefly going to go over the survey results from the parents survey and the volunteer survey that we did a few weeks ago. So we had the survey open for 2.5 weeks. So I believe the parent survey is first. So we had 314 who responded. 80% were parents of active youth members. The balance had either taken a break in 2020 or were planning to join in 2021. 60% of them registered directly with their club. 17% had registered online this year. 56% of parents said online registration will make enrolling in 4-H easier for their household. 15% said they're more likely to participate in 4-H because of online registration. 15% said no, 70% said it wouldn't change their participation. 35% said they'd prefer to pay via credit card, 20% debit interact, 32% said cash check, and 12% said other. And most of the ones who said other said electronic funds transfer. They reiterated debit or any of the options. And next we'll look at some of the results of the volunteer survey. So we had 249 responses from 41 associations, and that actually should be 251 because they did get 2 paper copies back. 85% said positive organizational benefits of online registration. The top comments were less paperwork, less time for volunteers, faster reporting, and consistency. The main concerns were around collection of fees, the need for personal interaction, the concern for timely access to interaction or to information, and technical challenges relating to internet or security. 70% of people said they joined a virtual town hall, so thank you to everybody who came out tonight. I really appreciate it. And 82% said the best way to contact them was by direct email. So 114 questions were submitted back. I filtered them into 5 major categories and then tried as best as I could to capture them. Many of them were asking the same questions. So we're going to go through the top questions in each category. So hopefully this gives you some of the information that you've been looking for. So the first category is the database and who will have access. So the volunteers that will have access to the database are membership coordinators, treasurers, and screening contacts. How soon is participant information available on the database? And the answer is when a participant registers, the membership coordinator and treasurer will receive an automated email notification, including a summary of all participant information. At the same time, Joanne will be confirming that the data is correct before it goes live in RazorsEdge. Once the data is live, the membership coordinator and the treasurer will have access to view and can supply information for leaders on the youth in their clubs. So that process will happen quickly. So it's going to be, we know that there's times when things are busy, when our registration numbers are high. So that's when that process we know will internally be increased. Will the information provided be used for more than association sign up, such as provincial opportunities? Some of it. So what's going to happen is that each participant will become a constituent, and that's the language of all of the profiles that are listed in the database. And they'll have a comprehensive online file that lists all of their important information. So hopefully that means tracking information for provincial opportunities will become a lot easier. Will associations have to wait for reports, or can they access directly? Membership and coordinators and treasurers will be able to access youth participant reports at any time on behalf of their association. How do we handle border jumpers? Oh, I think that's a mistake. So, yeah. So with Border Jumpers, what's going to happen is membership coordinators and treasurers will now be able to see on a youth profile if they have paid their fee in another association, which I believe currently the only thing that they could do is they needed the youth's ID number to be able to look them up directly. And now they will be able to see by name if the youth has paid in another association. There was a lot of questions around fees and the CRA.
Why?
So how will 4-H Ontario collect participant fee prices from each association? We've asked the volunteer services team to reach out to each association to collect this data. So you'll probably, someone at the association level will be having those conversations in the next few weeks. We did it earlier in the year as well. You can also email us on the communications team and let us know. And same thing, let us know if there's any specific information that you'd like to include in that summary and response that goes back out to the youth when they register. How will 4-H Ontario account for associations that charge extra or less than the provincial fee? As I mentioned before, the association fee that you charge, that you decide, is what will be posted on the registration form. 4-H Ontario will invoice or deposit the balance to your association monthly. Can an association opt out of online registration? No. Online registration is mandatory in 2021. Accommodations and assistance will be made for individuals requiring support. That goes for individuals that are requiring support registering and associations that require support with the rollout. What is happening with refunds? I noticed that in the... Just wanted to let everyone know there was a lot of discussion, obviously, in 2020 about refunds because we encountered unprecedented situations. The refund policy is currently in review and will be made available in January. Will you be accepting other forms of payment? Cash and checks will not be accepted unless extraordinary circumstances apply. Visa debit will be accepted. E-transfers can be arranged directly through 4-H Ontario, and we're working to find an option for direct debit payment. The next category is security, collection, and personal information data. How do leaders access participant information that would usually be on forms? So the information will be available on the database. Membership coordinators will be able to provide all information once the names of the youth in the club are set by the leader. Youth will also receive a summary of this information along with their confirmation email when they register. In collecting this data on a provincial database, we are mitigating the risks associated with the collection of personal information. What security considerations have been undertaken? So I wanted to tell everyone a little bit about the RazorsEdge. The RazorsEdge is a software program that is created by a company called Blackbaud. They're used by nonprofits around the world, and some major Canadian clients include Trillium Health Partners, the ROM, Fanshawe College, William Mosa Health System Foundation, and War Child Canada. They have, in comparison, our current database does not have anywhere near the security levels that Blackbaud can offer us. Technology and support. How will this be advertised or rolled out? So Emma and I are working on a multifaceted campaign, as in previous years, to support registrations beginning in January. This will include social media, e-news. We're working on some display ads, editorials, and press releases to support this. We're also counting on the support of the local associations to spread the word with their members that this is the expectation in 2021. What kind of training will be available? Volunteers will have access to in-house training documents and recordings, as well as free access to Blackbaud University, where if they wish, there will be They will be able to access a wide range of training options and certifications relating to the Razor's Edge. How are we dealing with poor internet connections? The new membership form loads on the website and is also mobile optimized. Razor's Edge NXT program is accessible on mobile devices as well. This was an interesting question and something that I hadn't considered, but I think that it's really important that we talk about it. So someone had asked that they have concerns with the system overloading. They've heard of other organizations who go live with a membership database and then it crashes the system because everything happens so fast. And they wanted to know, how do we make sure this does not happen? So our current 4-H database houses over 50,000 records, and our annual registrations approximately, in a normal year, about 6,000 youth. Razor's Edge services industries that accept thousands of transactions a day. So for us to be managing 6,000 youth applications or registrations over the course of a year, we are well within the bandwidth of the capabilities of the Razor's Edge software. Who has access? To begin with, membership coordinators, treasurers, and screening contacts will have access only to the information they require to fulfill their roles. Communications. What is the administrative plan to manage this? In the Razor's Edge, many of our current manual processes are going to be automated. So it allows not only for volunteers to spend more time engaging with youth and less time supplying paperwork to 4-H Ontario. It's also going to free up a lot of time for staff at 4-H Ontario to focus on better management of our data and better delivery of our services to youth. Can we register online for all 4-H activities? Currently, provincial opportunities and the provincial membership will be available online. I think it's important to do a phased and measured approach to big technological changes, as I'm sure everyone will agree with. So in the future, we'll look at exploring more functionality and options. How will an association be notified of registrations? So when a new registration happens, once again, both the membership coordinator and the treasurer will receive an email. How will this be advertised? We will promote this across all our channels and count on our associations to support the rollout. Will it be user-friendly? There's two sides to this. So I think, as a parent, most parents and youth now are accustomed to web-based forms. It's a familiar style of application process, and it should be really easy to navigate for our users. Even with the temporary solution that we launched in June, there's been a lot of feedback on how easy it is. In terms of the ease for our volunteers, yes, it's going to be a new system to learn, but it is one that's widely used by thousands of companies around the world. And once you get the hang of it, it is a wonderful tool that gives us fabulous options. Oh, and we're backwards here, but next I'd like to invite Jeff from JMG Solutions to speak. Jeff is the consultant who's helping us with the rollout plan for the Razor's Edge.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to join you tonight. Like Sheena said, my name is Jeff, and I've been leading the 4-H team through this change. I run a company called JMG Solutions, and I've been doing this for just about 30 years. So I sort of know what I'm doing, and I've led hundreds of organizations through this exciting change. I have two things that I'm going to show you tonight, because a lot of this is going to be new. One is I'm going to show you the Razor's Edge, and we're just going to sort of take a very high level, 100,000 foot level of the database and kind of what it looks like, and just kind of some of the things, kind of expand on some of the questions and answers that Sheena's already going through. And then the last part I'm going to work on is I'm just going to show you the new membership form and what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. And so this is what the Razor's Edge looks like. I'm just going to bounce around a little bit here. You can see that it is completely in my browser. It is a web-based application. And I often say, if you can, if you can buy a book on Amazon, if you can book a hotel on Expedia, if you can use Facebook, if you can use the Facebook, the Twitter, you can use this because it was built with that same method in mind. Everything is sort of point and click and easy to access. Like Sheena said, it's used by thousands of organizations in Canada, in Ontario, like all the major hospitals use it. You would be hard pressed to find a major charity in Ontario that does not use it. So looking and talking with other people, finding out what other people do is very easy for 4-H staff because there's lots of experience, lots of people out there. So as Sheena said, I'm just going to call up our good friend Homer Simpson here. So as Sheena said, everybody is a constituent. There isn't a volunteer database. There isn't a membership database. There isn't a donor database. There isn't a volunteer database. There is a central database. There is one database that everybody is in. And we call them constituents, right? If anyone done any political work, you're referred to as a constituent, same sort of thing. We often refer to Razor's Edge as a CRM, a constituent relationship management system, because that's what it is. It houses all of the constituents. And then what we can see here now, the other thing to remember, and I'm not going to say this over and over again, is that security is assumed. Sheena and I and Joanne have spent hours talking about security, whom can do what. And so you have to assume that if you need to do something, you will have the rights to do it. If you don't have a need to do it, you don't have the rights to do it. So Joanne, Shannon on the donor services team, they can see gift information. Volunteers and membership coordinators, you have no reason to see what donations people made. You won't be able to see them, right? So security is the number one thing that it underlies everything that we do. So when I say stuff, just assume if you have the security to do it, follows every statement I make, because I'm not going to keep repeating it. And so basically everything is here at a glance. Like I can see their volunteer information. I could see their membership information. There's membership. I can see membership information. I can see emails that have been sent, right? I can see all of the information about my constituent. Because everything is there, everything is in the database, there is some built-in reporting. So there is something that are called lists. Lists allow us to quickly look at and pull up data. So again, depending on what you're doing, you can pull up a list depending on what you're doing of the particular groups, right? So I just pulled a list of donations to the Peel Association, and there's my one donation. Again, I have donation access. Some of you will not. But again, just extrapolate that to whatever you do, right? So if you're membership, we can maybe look at membership stuff. If you're volunteer, we can look at volunteer stuff. And then one of the questions is, how do I get access to the stuff? So there is going to be some built-in reporting that we can just click on the report builder. And there's, again, going to be some quickly reports. If you want to know how things are doing, we can quickly look at that and we can pull up that information and we can decide what we're doing there. The other thing is there is a lot of external connection we can do to, things like Power BI and other things like that. So we can build out some automated reports that get emailed to you. So again, depending on the need, we'll figure out what that might look like and we will automate it and have things show up in your inbox, every Monday morning or every Sunday or something like that, right? So there's lots of built-in features. There's lots of things that we can do in order to make sure you have all the information. The final thing is we realize that sometimes you're out at a camp, you're out somewhere at a park, or you're out doing some work somewhere. Maybe internet is not the best. Maybe you don't have a connection. Maybe there isn't Wi-Fi. where you happen to be. So let's say you're doing an event at the Ancaster Fairgrounds and maybe the internet isn't what it should be. Maybe you don't have a good connection. We will always make available to you PDF or other formats in terms of the data. So if you have a camp going on and you've got, a bunch of participants there and you need to have their information, you need to have their contact information, dietary restriction, dietary needs, you need to have all that. We'll produce you some sort of PDF, or we'll produce you some sort of Excel or some other document that you can have on your phone or your tablet. So if you quickly, or you can just print it. If you will send it to you, if you want to print it out, and anyway you can have, right? So you can have all your paper right here. So you can have all your paper files of whatever it is you need, have all that information at your fingertips. All that will be driven from the database itself. So basically, it's like any other system that you may have used in anywhere else in your life. Databases, you may not know this, but databases run our lives. Everything that we do, when you go to the grocery store and you swipe your Optimum card, your President's Choice, your Air Miles, all that information is being tracked, and all that stuff is being mined. All that data is being used. You may not know it, you may not like it, but it is every time you use those magic cards. They want you to use their cards not because they want to give you free stuff, but they want your data. They want to mine it. We're doing that, but in a more friendly way. We're not doing it as evil as Loblaws does in order to send you stuff. We're doing it a nicer way to make sure we send you nice emails. Emma's going to write some really cool emails. And some really nice solicitations. We're going to be able to treat the volunteers with the respect that they need, and we're going to do all of that. Shannon, I'm going to stop here and stop talking for a second. Does anybody have any questions? I got to open the chat. Maybe they want to throw them in the chat. I don't see anything in the chat. If you've got any questions, just toss it in the chat. Shannon or Emma will grab my attention to make sure I try and answer it. I'm just going to take a sip here and stop talking for a minute. Shannon will tell you I'd like to talk. Like Susan pointed out, it is a very powerful database. You have to remember that it is used by hundreds and thousands of organizations around the world, a lot of them with a lot more databases. There's I work with one national charity. They have over 1 million constituents in their database. I forget, how many do we have, Shannon? About 50,000, 60,000, somewhere around there? Yeah. Okay. So again, that's a good number. Don't go comparing your number. You can't compare your size to other people's, but just trust me, we know that it is used. Little bit of geeks talk for those that care. There was a question around, will things crash? So for the nerds in the room, it's actually, the database is housed in the Microsoft Azure data center. And so anyone knows anything about Azure or AWS, you may have heard of these words. They are very powerful. Azure is run by a little startup company called Microsoft. Not sure if you heard of them or not. And what that means is they have thousands of servers available. And then so if for some reason, we launch membership on January 1st and 50,000 people from 4-H start attacking our forums, that's okay, because they just turn more servers and put more servers into it. And then when there's less, they turn less. They make it less, right? So you don't have to worry about it crashing. The current system, although powerful enough, it's more homegrown. This is not homegrown. RazorsEdge has been around since the 80s. And so it's got, almost 35 years of database experience. So all of that infrastructure is on Microsoft's shoulders. So we don't really have to worry about people hitting it and anything corrupting from there. Haley says, so the current constituent information will be transferred into this database and 2021 will just be added. That is correct. So while you guys are all off enjoying Christmas, I will be taking all of the current data. Sheena's going to be on vacation. Emma's going to be on vacation. But I'm going to be sitting right here in this little room that you see me in right now. And I will be converting all of the current MWA data in there. Now, I've already done that in a test environment. I'm not going to get into the test environment today, but we have already done it. We've converted it all in test mode. We're going to do another round of testing in early December. Again, just built locally, that Shannon, Joanne, and I kind of review and go over. And then, yes, all of that will be done over the Christmas break, working with the current team that houses the MWA database. We're going to bring that over. Oh, that's just Sheena answering the question before I could. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Thanks, Jeff. Do you want to show everybody the test registration form?
I'd love to. So we've built out this new registration form, which is going to sit right here. This is not the final product. This is a work in progress. I don't know if you've ever watched any of those, any of the other things where they do demos. They have that kind of work in progress. We need something here that says work in progress. So we know that there are some spelling mistakes. We know that there are some changes to be made. So before you all flood the chat with Sheena's typing spelling mistakes, we know they're there, and we are working on. Again, this is just a work in progress. Test will go away. So this is the page. You can see at the top, we've got a little bit about the conduct, right? We've got the media release. Everything is right there. Then we get into the online registration form, and then you choose, right? You can choose which of the two types you're registering for. And then you've got other pieces of information in here. You got the participant agreement information. So you've got the 4-H ID. You've got a gender selection. You've got the participant names, middle names. You've got their address. You've got your birth date, primary contact, relationship, all of that kind of good stuff. Secondary, blah blah blah. Physicians, practice name. Medical, behavioral details, allergies, dietary requirements. So in here, if it was me, I would put that I'm a meatitarian. And then we've got additional information. Do you agree to the media, the release that's attached, the consent to participate? So it's all kind of there. You kind of fill this all in. Then we get down to the billing information in here. And then you want to send me all the great info about 4-H, yay. And then you make your secure payment. When you click on that, the payment form appears, put in your credit card details. And off you go. The credit card details, again, the information is encrypted using state-of-the-art top of the line encryption. Nothing is saved in terms of credit card details. It is there long enough to process the credit card, and then we move on from there. As Sheena said, when this payment goes through, people are alerted that this came through. So you'll get an email with all the participant information. Does not go directly into Razor's Edge. It goes into a holding pattern where Joanne can then review the data, check for any duplicates, if we notice that if we notice that Haley, she lived in Kitchener-Waterloo, and now we know that Haley's moved to Hamilton, we can make sure we update her address and make sure we attribute all of the stuff to her current record, and we do all of that good stuff. And then once it's pushed through, then all of that information will be added to the database. And Sheena and I are working on some ways to, again, some more automated reports that will go out to you once the stuff hits the database too. So we're looking at several different automations. You may be getting several emails indicating stuff has happened, because again, somebody might, someone might, for example, on Friday at 8 o'clock, they might sign up and register for something. But Joanne isn't in until Monday, so there could be 3 or 4 days. You'd get the email on Friday night saying somebody did sign up. Then you may get a second email. We're working that out just to say once everything's hit the database, then of course you can go and look them up and go from there. Before I answer Dawn's question, any question about the registration form? Any comments?
Jeff, from year to year, will it automatically fill in name once you put in the ID number?
At this point, no. There is no way. And that's by design, because somebody could guess the number. The number is really just a number. We would have to put a bunch of different security things in place. We would need a login. There'd be a bunch of other infrastructure we'd have to be able to put in to make sure that when you put in that number, that is in fact the person and not some other random person. So for security reasons, at the moment, we're not doing any sort of lookup, anything like that, just because of privacy and other reasons. That's a great question. Will it happen down the road? Maybe, but at the moment, it's not on the table.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sheena, any comments about the registration form?
No, we've got it out. As Jeff said, it's very much a test form right now. I've got a few more changes to make. We've already made some before it's ready to go. I wanted to speak to Don's question about the database. So the reason that there's 5,000, 50,000 or so entries in the database is because we keep historical data on participants and volunteers. So we don't only track the 6,000 current youth members. We do have historical data as well. And that's best practice for a youth organization.
As well as donors. There could be people who have just made donors. So these are people who've attended your events. These are sponsors. These are participants. So like I said, and as Sheena put in her earlier, as Sheena put in her presentation, it's one common database. Everybody is in there. There isn't a membership database. There isn't a volunteer database. I've had that question before working with with you fine people. They go, "Where's the volunteer database?" No, there is just one 4-H Ontario database. Everybody's in there, and then we just kind of slice and dice what you need out of it. Susan makes a good point. Yeah, alumni of 4-H, donors, sponsors. Basically, anybody who has any interaction with 4-H will now be in the database, either historically from the MWA database or going forward with the new forms.
Jennifer, thanks for your question. Yeah, part of this process is database cleanup as well, and making sure that everything is accurate and up to date. We couldn't do a lot of things in MWA just because we were restricted with the functionality. It's going to be really amazing to see how much more accurate we can be with the RazorsEdge. Wonderful. Thanks, Brad. We're really excited. It's been a really big project, and there's been lots of feedback and consultation and discussion, but it's really exciting to kind of move it ahead. We really appreciate everyone's understanding and patience in getting things going, especially with this year of all years. Yes, Shauna, there will be a 4-H profile for members. It won't be accessible on the website as it has been. But so when we say constituent, that's what the profile is now. So I'm going to move ahead just because I don't want to keep everybody here all night. I'm sure everybody would like to enjoy their evening. Oh, sorry, the profile, Shauna. So that's going to be membership coordinators, treasurers for youth, and then screening contacts will be able to access volunteers as well. No, they won't right now. We actually found that majority of people weren't even accessing their profiles on the old website. So we don't have that functionality right now. And the old website wasn't as secure as I would want it to be moving ahead, especially with capturing youth data. And it probably was when we originally had built it 10, 12 years ago. But I think now we needed to kind of move forward with some new best practices. So if anybody else has any questions that we didn't get a chance to cover tonight, please feel free to email me, and we will do our best to get back. And we're going to post a Q&A as well, so that as we get questions, we'll answer them and post them so everyone can see. And thank you, Jeff, for walking us through that. That was a ton of information. So again, if you want to go back and have a look at the video, it will be up, if not tomorrow, then Monday. The last thing I just wanted to look at before we let you go today is some key dates that are coming up. These did go out in an e-news a little while ago. So originally we had set a deadline of December 1st for associations to submit their participant fees for 2021. As soon as you can get them to us, that would be great. The VS team, as I mentioned, they'll be reaching out and asking, but if you have information that you'd like to include in your those summary emails, please let us know. But the registration fees are going to be the most important part, because that's how we create your registration forms, and we have to create a unique form for each association. December 15th is membership coordinator training, and I believe that Joanne also just sent out an invite, or will be sending out an invite shortly, to invite screening contacts to that as well. December 18th, the MWA database will no longer be available. That's when Jeff is going to begin his magic, transferring all of that into the RazorsEdge for us. And January 4th, right after New Year's, is when we're going to go live with online registration. So we'll be posting a lot, probably over the holidays, reminding everybody that it's coming, and you'll see a rollout over the next, probably starting next week, of the communications plan around that. And we kind of jumped on the questions ahead of time, so I'm actually going to let everybody get rolling, because it's getting pretty late. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for your feedback. Again, thank you for your patience. And we're really excited about this, and I hope that you are too. And I hope that tonight answered a lot of questions and makes everyone feel a little bit better about what's coming. Thanks everybody for joining us, and have a great evening.
Thank you.